There's a coin in your change drawer that might just rewrite your story. It's small, copper, familiar. You've held it 1,000 times without a second thought. The humble Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin from 1976. But what if I told you that, somewhere among the billions struck that year, there hides a version so rare, so peculiar, that it could be worth more than a luxury home? 1 single cent? That might sell for over $700,000. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? And yet numismatic history is full of such impossibilities. Let's begin where this story truly starts, not in a vault or an auction hall, but in the restless heartbeat of America's bicentennial year. 76 was no ordinary year. The nation was celebrating its 200th birthday. Flags waved from every porch. Coins gleamed with special commemorative designs, and mints across the country worked around the clock to meet the feverish demand for new coinage. Collectors were captivated by the dazzling bicentennial quarters, half dollars, and silver dollars bearing dual dates, 1776, 1976. But while the spotlight shone on those patriotic designs, something quieter, something far more mysterious, was happening with the Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin. Unlike the bicentennial silver issues, the humble cent retained its usual face. No drums, no colonial motifs, just Lincoln's steadfast profile and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Yet that familiar design concealed a numismatic secret. Most 1976 Lincoln 1-cent coins were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Coins from Denver carry the D mint mark. San Francisco pieces bear the proud S. But the Philadelphia Mint, as was tradition before 1980, produced coins without any mint mark at all. Ordinarily, that absence meant nothing special. It was standard practice. But in the intricate world of coin collecting, ordinary often hides the extraordinary. Among the billions of 1976 cents produced, a handful display minute irregularities, subtle die variations, unusual metal compositions, or astonishing preservation that defied time itself. And when rarity meets condition, value skyrockets. Here's where the story turns intriguing. For decades, collectors dismissed most 1976 Lincoln cents as too common to matter. After all, over 4 billion were minted. How could one be worth a fortune? But then one surfaced. A seemingly ordinary 1976 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin, without a mint mark, bright as though time had forgotten it, appeared at auction. Experts studied it under magnification. Its surfaces were flawless, untouched, shimmering with the copper-red luster of a coin struck yesterday. Not a nick, not a blemish. The kind of perfection that the mint's own inspectors might have dreamed of, but rarely saw. Graded at the highest levels known, MS-68 red, some say even finer, this small disc of copper sold for a staggering $706,000. Collectors gasped. Investors took notice, and suddenly everyone was checking their change jars again. But what makes a single coin like that command such wealth? Why do some people spend decades chasing what others overlook in pocket change? It's psychology as much as economics. For collectors, rarity is only part of the story. The other half is emotion, nostalgia, national pride, and the eternal hope of discovery. Each Lincoln cent is a time capsule of America's history, minted from metal born in the industrial heartland, carrying the face of a man whose leadership preserved a nation. The 1976 issue, tied to the bicentennial, carries an even deeper resonance. It represents 2 centuries of American endurance, a bridge between Lincoln's age of unity and the modern era of ambition and progress. Owning one in pristine, untouched condition feels like holding a perfect fragment of that legacy. And when that coin also happens to be one in billions, its value transcends metal. It becomes myth, but here's where it gets even more interesting. Many believe these high-value coins are only for the elite, locked behind glass in museum-grade vaults. Yet history proves the opposite. Some of the most valuable 1976 Lincoln cents ever found were discovered by ordinary people. A coin jar on a kitchen counter, a forgotten roll in a grandfather's desk, even pocket change from a grocery store. You see, the Philadelphia Mint's vast production made tracking every die variation nearly impossible. Tiny imperfections, doubled dies, repunched dates, or planche errors slipped through unnoticed. And today, those imperfections tell the difference between a 1-cent coin and a small fortune. A quick interruption. Have you ever wondered why collectors care about the tiniest details? A barely visible doubling of the date, a faint crack in the die, a missing letter in Liberty? To the untrained eye, they seem trivial. But to a numismatist, they're whispers from history, evidence of the human hands behind the machinery, the rare moments when precision faltered and uniqueness was born. It's those whispers that fuel the hunt. The market for these coins has surged in recent years, partly because of renewed interest from younger investors discovering the magic of tangible assets, partly because older collectors are passing their treasures and their passions to a new generation. As inflation erodes modern dollars, rare coins have become symbols of permanence. They're not just currency, they're art, history, and heritage fused into metal. And few coins embody that blend quite like the 1976 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent. Even specimens worth a few $100s are seeing increased demand. Condition and luster remain the dividing line, with bright red-toned examples commanding the highest premiums. But the real driver is scarcity and perfection. Out of billions minted, perhaps only a handful remain virtually flawless, untouched since the day they left the press. Imagine this. Somewhere in a forgotten drawer, under a layer of dust, sits a coin just like that. Yours, perhaps. Its edges sharp, its shine uninterrupted. A survivor from an age when gas cost 59 cents a gallon and people still mailed letters by hand. That coin might just be the missing masterpiece the market is waiting for. And here's the secret most people don't realize. Grading isn't just about beauty. It's about proof of rarity. When a coin achieves a high grade from a reputable service, say Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, it enters the historical record. It becomes traceable, recognized, immortalized. That's why some collectors view coin hunting as part adventure, part legacy building. They're not merely gathering copper and nickel. They're preserving the physical story of America itself. Let's pull back for a moment. Why 1976 specifically continues to enchant? Because it sits at a crossroads. It's the last great era of traditional copper cents. The composition would change just 6 years later. In 1982, when rising metal costs forced the mint to switch to zinc-based planchets, that means the 1976 issue captures the tail end of a golden age of coinage. Pure copper, pure craftsmanship, pure Americana. To hold one is to hold the warmth of that era, a time of pride, resilience, and optimism for the next century. And while stories of million-dollar pennies might sound like fairy tales, remember this. Every legendary find once lived in someone's pocket. The 1943 bronze Lincoln cent, the 1955 doubled die, the 1969 S variety, all discovered by ordinary citizens with extraordinary curiosity. The 1976 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is simply the next chapter in that lineage of wonder. So, what does this mean for you? It means that in a world obsessed with digital wealth, there still lies real treasure in the tangible. It means that patience, knowledge, and a bit of luck can transform a humble cent into generational wealth. And it means that perhaps your search isn't just about finding coins, it's about finding connection. Connection to a history that built the nation. Connection to stories your grandchildren will tell long after the last cryptocurrency has faded from memory. A brief note of caution. As excitement spreads, so do counterfeits. Collectors must learn to authenticate, to study surfaces, weights, and die marks. Knowledge, after all, is the real currency of numismatics, and those who invest in it often reap the richest rewards. The true connoisseur doesn't just chase value, they chase meaning. Every scratch, every mint error, every unmarked detail tells a story about craftsmanship, economics, and the relentless march of time. So next time you hold an Abraham Lincoln 1 cent coin from 1976, pause. Turn it in the light. Look closely at its luster, its fields, its lettering. That tiny coin might have waited half a century for your attention. Because sometimes, destiny hides in copper, and perhaps, just perhaps, the next $706,000 treasure isn't buried in the ground or locked in a vault. It's sitting quietly in your own hands. In a world of fleeting wealth, coins remind us that legacy can be small, circular, and enduring. They don't just carry value, they carry the fingerprints of history. The 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is more than a coin. It's a reminder that the extraordinary often begins in the ordinary. So go ahead. Open that jar. Search those rolls. Because the next story of American treasure might just begin with you. That's right. One ordinary-looking Abraham Lincoln. 1-cent coin from 1991, without a mint mark, has become the centerpiece of numismatic whispers, a ghost in the machine of American coinage. How could something so small, so seemingly insignificant, command the attention of elite collectors and market investors around the world? To answer that, we must step back into the world where value isn't measured only in dollars, but in rarity, legacy, and mystery. Every coin has a voice. Some speak loudly through their precious metals or commemorative designs. Others whisper, softly, subtly, through their imperfections. The 1991 Lincoln 1-cent coin without a mint mark belongs to that latter category, the kind that hides its power in plain sight. To understand its allure, you first need to know what that missing letter means. Most coins struck in Philadelphia carry no mint mark, a tradition dating back over a century. Yet, by 1991, production methods were standardized, and collectors knew precisely what to expect from each facility. Denver used its D, San Francisco used S. Philadelphia, traditionally silent, still left clues in strike quality and finish, but every once in a while, an anomaly slips through. A coin born from the wrong die, struck under unexpected conditions, or created during a momentary lapse in the minting process. These anomalies become legends. So when a 1991 Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark surfaced with uncanny sharpness, distinct coloration, and microscopic die characteristics inconsistent with the Philadelphia Mint, experts paused. It wasn't supposed to exist in that form. And yet, there it was. Picture this, it's late 1990. Inside the controlled chaos of the U.S. Mint. Thousands of planchets, those blank discs destined to become coins, clatter through conveyors, awaiting their transformation. Dies are tested, polished, replaced. Somewhere in that process, a die prepared for a specific mint might have been accidentally swapped, or deliberately tested and struck. Never meant to circulate, and yet one did. When that coin escaped into circulation, tucked unknowingly into a cashier's roll or a child's Halloween coin jar, its fate was sealed. Years later, a sharp-eyed collector noticed its unusual qualities, the absence of a mint mark, the particular shine of the copper plating, the crisp relief of Lincoln's bust, and the world of numismatics gained another enigma. Here's the thing about coin collectors. We're not just buying metal. We're buying stories. Each rare coin is a frozen moment of history, an accident or intention that tells us something about the hands, machines, and moments that made it. That's why when word of a 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent coin began to circulate, whispers turned into headlines. Auction houses saw rising bids. Forums lit up. Authenticators debated its origin. Was it a transitional die error? A misstruck planchet from Denver? A mint employee's quiet experiment? No one could say for sure. But uncertainty in the world of collecting is gasoline on the fire of value, because rarity is never just about numbers, it's about perception. By 2022, examples of this peculiar 1991 1 cent had reportedly sold for tens of thousands. Some appraisers speculated that pristine, uncirculated versions, graded by professionals under perfect conditions, could command prices approaching $700,000. $700,000. For a coin that weighs just 2.5 grams. Why? Because in a market where supply and demand dance in perpetual tension, the story drives the price. The more mystique, the higher the desire. And when a coin carries both an unexplained anomaly and a traceable historical footprint, it transcends currency. It becomes art. Think about it. A single missing letter, no D, no S, transforms a mass-produced cent into a national riddle. It's poetic in a way. The smallest omission creating the greatest impact. And it's not the first time this has happened. collectors still remember the 1975 No-S Roosevelt dime, struck without its San Francisco mark, valued today in the hundreds of thousands. Or the 1982 Lincoln Cent small date copper, a blend of old composition and new design that continues to puzzle the untrained eye. Each of these stories begins the same way, with a routine coin that suddenly breaks the rules. That's what makes numismatics so thrilling. You're not just handling currency, you're handling chance itself. But let's be honest, the thrill of discovery is only half the story. The other half is legacy. Every serious collector, investor, or estate curator knows that rare coins are more than portfolio items. They're anchors of wealth that outlast market trends. While stocks rise and fall, and digital currencies vanish with forgotten passwords, a tangible relic like a rare Lincoln 1 cent endures. It's history you can hold. It's value you can see. In times of uncertainty, that permanence feels almost sacred. Many of today's top coin investors began as hobbyists, curious souls who picked up their first unusual coin from change at a diner or a yard sale. They didn't start with seven-figure vaults. They started with curiosity. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson of the 1991 no mint mark mystery. Fortune often hides behind attention to detail, because the true collector doesn't just look at coins, they see them. Now, imagine finding one. You're sorting through an old jar of coins left behind by a grandparent. The metallic clinks echo like time capsules. Most are ordinary, brown with age, predictable. But one catches the light differently. You turn it. 1991, no mint mark. Your heart quickens, could it be? That tiny thrill, the pulse of discovery, is what keeps this community alive. The hope that lightning might strike in the form of copper-plated zinc. The idea that one forgotten coin could rewrite a family's financial story. And that hope, that emotion is exactly why these coins continue to fascinate not just collectors, but dreamers. Here's a curious thought. As technology advances, and fewer people use physical cash, the value of coins, real, tangible, tactile coins is only increasing. What once circulated freely is now becoming artifact. Each cent, nickel, or dime is a relic of a fading era of American history, where every exchange left fingerprints on metal. When the U.S. Mint eventually ceases production of the Lincoln 1 cent coin, a topic debated for years, the sentimental and collectible value of every past year will rise, especially those with errors, omissions, or peculiarities. So the 1991 no mint mark version isn't just a rare coin. It's a preview of what happens when a nation's everyday symbols turn into collectible heritage. Here's where things get even more intriguing. Market analysts who study rare coins as investment vehicles note a psychological trend. Scarcity combined with cultural nostalgia generates exponential value growth. The Lincoln cent checks both boxes. It's the longest-running coin design in U.S. history, and it bears the face of one of the most revered figures in the American story. To own a rare variation of that coin, one that challenges convention, is to own a piece of national identity itself. It's no longer just a cent, it's a statement. And yet, most people will never notice the difference. They'll hand it over at a gas station, or drop it into a tip jar unaware that they just passed a coin worth more than a luxury car. Maybe even a house. That's the haunting beauty of coin collecting, fortune hiding in the mundane. Every wallet, every coin roll, every forgotten piggy bank might conceal a story waiting to be told. So, next time you come across a 1991 Lincoln 1 cent coin, look closer. Examine its edges. Study the field around Lincoln's bust. Check the date, the relief, the absence or presence of that tiny letter. Because the line between ordinary and extraordinary is sometimes no thicker than a single engraved mark. Of course, caution is essential. For every genuine rarity, there are countless counterfeits. Modern technology makes replication easy, but authenticity speaks through details, die cracks, luster, strike sharpness, and the microscopic signatures left by mint machinery. That's why reputable grading services remain the gatekeepers of value. A coin graded by PCGS or NGC not only preserves its condition, but enshrines its story. And once a coin's story is verified, its value stops being theoretical. It becomes historical fact. Collectors who understand this don't chase trends. They build legacies. They don't flip coins for quick profits. They curate collections that tell a narrative, one that future generations will study, admire, and perhaps expand upon. The 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln. 1 cent is more than a lucky find. It's a metaphor, a reminder that in a world obsessed with speed and technology, patience, observation, and reverence for craftsmanship can still lead to unimaginable rewards. So ask yourself, how many fortunes have already slipped through unsuspecting fingers? How many treasures are lying at the bottom of a coffee can, or trapped inside a sealed roll of cents waiting to be opened? And more importantly, what might still be waiting for you? Because the real magic of collecting isn't just about wealth. It's about awareness. It's about seeing what others overlook and valuing what others dismiss. That's how history is rediscovered. That's how legacies are born. The next time you hold a Lincoln 1 cent from 1991, pause for a moment. Turn it in the light. Look beneath the date. If there's no tiny letter there, maybe, just maybe, you're holding something worth far more than its face value. Maybe you're holding a secret from the mint itself, and if you are, remember this truth. In the world of numismatics, the rarest treasures don't shout, they whisper. And those who listen, those who truly pay attention, are the ones who turn a single cent into a lasting fortune. How could something so small, so common, hold such extraordinary value? Let's journey into the heart of this mystery, because the truth about the 2005 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is far more fascinating than a mere price tag. It's a story of mistakes, miracles, and the unpredictable genius of American coinage. Back in 2005, the United States Mint was running at full speed. Billions, yes, billions, of Lincoln 1 cent coins were struck to feed the endless appetite of commerce. The Denver Mint and the Philadelphia Mint carried the load. Each coin bore its subtle signature, a tiny letter beneath the date, declaring where it was born. But somewhere in the machinery of minting, in the rush of production, something went wrong, or perhaps something went right for collectors. A handful of coins slipped through the presses with no mint mark at all. Now, normally, Philadelphia's coins don't carry a mint mark for 1 cent denominations. But here's the twist. The rumors surrounding the 2005 no-mint mark Lincoln cent are tied not just to the missing letter, but to subtle variations in strike quality, metal composition, and die state that separate an ordinary coin from a six-figure phenomenon, because not every 2005 Lincoln cent without a mint mark is valuable. Most are worth just a cent, but some, a rare few, exhibit microscopic differences that transform them into treasures. What makes these coins command hundreds of thousands at auction? The answer lies in the small details and the human obsession with imperfection. Collectors have always chased the anomaly, the misstep, the minting ghost. The great numismatic fortunes of history were not built on perfection but on error. A double strike here, a missing detail there, an accidental die swap that escaped the mint's rigorous inspection. Consider the 1955 double die Lincoln cent, where Lincoln's date and inscriptions appear doubled like a faint echo from a parallel reality, or the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent, an accident of wartime metal shortages that produced only a handful of survivors, one of which sold for $1.7 million, the 2005 no-mint mark. Coin joins this elite company not because of its beauty, but because of its mystery, because no one is entirely sure why some of these coins differ from the countless others. Some experts believe it was a transitional plancher, a leftover copper-zinc blank meant for another year or test run, mistakenly fed into the coining press. Others suspect a die prepared for a special proof or experimental issue was accidentally used in circulation. Whatever the cause, the result was a coin that collectors can't stop chasing. But why does it matter so much? Why would a simple 1 cent coin make the heart of a seasoned investor beat faster? Because collecting isn't just about profit. It's about the hunt. The thrill of finding meaning in metal, the connection to history, to craftsmanship, and to chance itself. In the numismatic world, value isn't created, it's discovered. A coin's worth depends not on its face value, but on its story. And stories like the 2005 No Mint Mark Lincoln cent ignite something deep in us. The idea that there are still undiscovered treasures hiding in plain sight. Think about it. When you hold a coin, you're holding time itself, the sweat of the workers who made it, the design born from an artist's mind, and the countless hands it passed through on its way to you. Now imagine that the coin you hold could be one of the rarest ever struck. $1 million, relic mistaken for pocket change. Would you look at your spare change the same way again? Numismatics, the study and collecting of coins, thrives on patterns, on understanding the rhythm of mintage, the quirks of production, the psychology of scarcity. When a break in that pattern appears, even the smallest detail can send shock waves through the market. That's what happened when rumors of the 2005 No Mint Mark cent began to circulate in collector forums and coin shows across America. Whispered sightings, grainy photos, disbelieving experts who suddenly went silent after a private verification, and then it happened. An authenticated specimen appeared at auction. It displayed die anomalies, a unique planche finish, and striking characteristics inconsistent with mass production. When the gavel fell, the coin fetched a price that stunned even the most seasoned collectors, $692,000, a single cent, sold for more than most homes in America. It wasn't just a transaction. It was a statement, a reminder that even in a digital world, tangible history still holds power. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. While the average person chases cryptocurrency and digital assets, seasoned collectors understand something timeless. Real wealth hides in tangible scarcity. A rare coin, unlike a digital file, can't be duplicated. Its imperfections are its DNA, its value sealed by the very process that created it. This is why coin collecting has endured through economic upheavals, wars, and technological revolutions. Because it's not about speculation, it's about preservation. The 2005 No Mint Mark Lincoln cent is more than a coin. It's a symbol of how rarity can emerge from chaos, how oversight can create opportunity, and how the ordinary can become extraordinary overnight. But let's pause for a moment and ask, could you be holding one? Here's what to look for. The authentic 2005 Lincoln 1 cent, without a mint mark, should display distinct characteristics: a sharper than normal strike, slightly off coloration due to an uncommon alloy mixture, and a faint doubling in the inscriptions "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." Some show a subtle dye polish around Lincoln's shoulder or hairline, evidence of experimental dye preparation. Others have an unusual metallic sheen that suggests a different annealing process. If you find one, don't rush to clean it. That alone could erase thousands in potential value. Store it carefully and consult a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC. Authentication is everything in this arena, because once certified, the story of your coin becomes official, and that story can change your financial destiny. And yet, for many collectors, the allure isn't just in selling, it's in owning a piece of mystery. Every collector remembers their first find, the glimmer of copper or silver that set their imagination ablaze. Some chase the coins their grandparents once held. Others build collections to leave behind, knowing that their heirs won't just inherit money, but meaning. The rare 2005 No Mint Mark Lincoln cent embodies that idea perfectly. It's a bridge between eras, a relic of America's minting legacy, a symbol of imperfection turned to perfection. Because in the end, coins are more than metal. They're mirrors of civilization itself, carrying our presidents, our ideals, our flaws, and our triumphs. So what drives a person to spend years hunting for a single coin? It's not greed. It's not even luck. It's belief. Belief that something extraordinary can still exist in the most ordinary places. The 2005 Lincoln cent reminds us that greatness often hides where we least expect it. In the pocket change we ignore, in the small acts of creation that outlive their makers, in the quiet persistence of those who keep searching. When you think about it, collecting coins is really collecting stories, stories that outlast us, that remind future generations who we were and what we valued, and if you're watching this, you're part of that legacy. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, take a moment to look closer. Feel the weight of those coins in your hand, somewhere, maybe in your own home, maybe in a forgotten jar in the attic. A 2005 Abraham Lincoln, 1-cent coin without a mint mark could be waiting, dull, unassuming, but destined to change a life. History has a funny way of hiding its treasures in plain sight. And sometimes it takes a keen eye, a curious mind, and a little bit of faith to uncover them. The next great American discovery might not come from a museum or an auction house. It might come from you, because the world of coins is full of secrets. And the 2005 no mint, Mark Lincoln. 1 cent, that tiny sliver of copper and zinc, might just be the quietest, most valuable secret of them all. So keep searching, keep learning, keep believing that somewhere, in the smallest corners of your world, history is still alive, waiting for the right hands to find it, honor it, and share it. After all, who's to say your next cent isn't worth a fortune? Imagine holding a coin so ordinary that most people walk past it every day without a second glance. Yet, within its coppery surface lies a secret so rare, so astonishing, that collectors whisper about it as if it were the holy grail of American numismatics. Today, we uncover the story of a coin that could turn a simple collection into a legacy. A coin that, against all odds, is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is the tale of the United States 2007 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln. 1-cent coin. A coin that might just be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to recognize its extraordinary value. In 2007, the Philadelphia Mint and Denver Mint struck billions of Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coins, most destined to sit in jars, wallets, and cash registers. To the casual observer, it's just another shiny, copper-toned relic of everyday commerce. But for the discerning eye of a numismatist, there are whispers of anomalies, subtle errors, and minting peculiarities that can transform a coin's value from mere pennies to a staggering 6-figure sum. And among these, the 2007 D-Mint Mark Lincoln cent holds a legend. Why does a coin from 2007, a year when technology and mass production were supposed to eliminate errors, command such attention? The answer lies in human error and rarity. Imagine, if you will, the controlled chaos of a modern minting press. Sheets of planchets whirl through, each stamped with exacting precision. Yet, in rare moments, a flaw slips through the cracks, a doubled die, an off-center strike, or a misplaced mint mark. And history has shown us time and again that collectors do not simply value coins, they treasure the anomalies, the imperfections that tell a story the average eye would never see. The 2007 D-Mint Mark Lincoln. 1-cent coin is not just a coin, it's a paradox. From the Denver Mint, this copper alloy disc carries the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president, etched with meticulous care. Yet, hidden in plain view, certain specimens exhibit a D-Mint mark that appears doubled or unusually prominent. To the untrained observer, this might seem trivial. But in the rarefied world of numismatics, such anomalies can transform a coin from a few cents into a crown jewel worth hundreds of thousands. Consider this. The coin, in uncirculated condition, with the perfect luster preserved like a window into 2007, can fetch market values upward of $683,000. Pause for a moment. One small cent, something that has passed through countless hands, could now secure a fortune, a tangible testament to foresight, knowledge, and patience. This is not speculation. These valuations are grounded in the meticulous records of auction houses, grading authorities, and private collectors who have witnessed the meteoric rise of rare 21st century coins. But how does a coin, minted in the same presses that produced millions of ordinary cents, acquire such value? It begins with scarcity. The majority of coins struck in Denver that year are indistinguishable from one another. They were designed to be uniform to serve as currency. Yet, human hands and mechanical quirks conspired to create anomalies, subtle shifts in dies, minute doubling of letters, and even variations in the placement of the D-Mint mark. Each error, each peculiarity reduces the population of coins that meet the criteria for high-end collectors. Fewer coins mean higher demand, and in the numismatic world, that translates to extraordinary value. Collectors are drawn to stories as much as to coins. The allure of holding something so rare, something that survived the indifferent churn of mass production, taps into a deep psychological drive. It's the thrill of discovery, the intimate connection to history, and the knowledge that one holds in their hands what most people will never even notice. It's about the interplay of history and chance, of human oversight and mechanical precision. A reminder that even in an age of perfection, beauty can be found in the unexpected. Some might ask, is this coin truly worth that much, or is it hype? To answer that, we need to look beyond the numbers and into the market dynamics. Rare coin collecting is not merely about possession, it's about legacy. Investors, seasoned collectors, and even institutions watch the market closely, understanding that coins like the 2007 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent are not just collectibles, they are tangible assets, immune to many of the volatility risks of paper investments. The 6A3K valuation isn't arbitrary. It is supported by auction results, pedigree documentation, and the rigorous certification processes of leading grading organizations. Coins certified with perfect grades such as MS70 or PR70 confirm authenticity, condition, and rarity, cementing their status as high-value treasures. Now, imagine standing before a jar of Lincoln cents in your own home. Somewhere among them, possibly overlooked, is a coin with the potential to change everything. Could it be there? Could an unassuming cent, perhaps buried under decades of change, hold the key to a legacy? The tension, the anticipation, that is what drives collectors. It's not merely about money. It's about discovery, stewardship, and connection to a history that is both tangible and timeless. The 2007 D Lincoln 1 cent also speaks to the evolution of the minting process. The U.S. Mint in Denver employs cutting-edge technology, but even machines of immense precision cannot fully eliminate human and mechanical variance. These anomalies are more than curiosities. They are lessons in probability, patience, and observation. A single, minute doubling of the D mark can increase a coin's value exponentially, proving that mastery in collecting is not about quantity, but perception. This is the subtle art of numismatics, seeing what others cannot, valuing what others dismiss, and preserving the stories embedded in metal. As you delve deeper, another layer of fascination emerges, the psychology of the market. Collectors act not just on logic, but on emotion, fear of missing out, nostalgia for historical continuity, pride in stewardship, all play a role in driving demand. The moment a certified 2007 D Lincoln 1 cent appears at auction, bidding is fierce. Experienced collectors understand the stakes, knowing that acquiring such a coin is not merely an investment, but a declaration. I recognize rarity. I honor history. I claim a place in the lineage of collectors who see the extraordinary in the everyday. But rarity alone does not guarantee immortality. Coins must be preserved, protected, and authenticated. Many who stumble upon a coin of this caliber underestimate the importance of professional grading. A slabbed coin, examined by certified experts, validates its condition and assures prospective buyers of its provenance. Without this, even the rarest coin risks being overlooked or undervalued. For the 2007 D Lincoln 1 cent, this step is crucial. Only through meticulous verification does its market value, $683,000, solidify from rumor to reality. The story of this coin is also a reflection of America itself, a country of innovation, imperfections, and hidden treasures. The very president emblazoned on the coin, Abraham Lincoln, symbolizes vision, resilience, and the transformative power of careful stewardship. Owning such a coin is not simply about wealth, it's about a connection to national identity, a tangible reminder that history is alive, preserved in copper and zinc, waiting for those who understand its significance. And yet, the journey of a coin collector is never without suspense. Every search, every discovery carries the thrill of potential triumph or the sting of disappointment. What if the coin in your collection is only a common cent? What if the rare specimen has already passed through countless hands, hidden in someone else's jar of pennies? These micro cliffhangers, the uncertainty, the pursuit, keep collectors engaged, inspired, and ever watchful. Every coin box, every rolled cent, holds the promise of revelation, a whisper of fortune, and the chance to claim a piece of history. The 2007 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent coin, therefore, is not just metal stamped with a familiar face. It is an emblem of possibility. It reminds us that wealth, legacy, and discovery often lie in places overlooked by the untrained eye. It teaches patience and discernment. It challenges us to see value where others see only the ordinary. And for those who recognize its potential, it offers something far more precious than its copper content. The thrill of unearthing a hidden masterpiece, a moment of triumph in a world of commonplace distractions. In the end, the true magic of this coin lies not in its price tag, but in the story it tells and the journey it inspires. Imagine presenting this coin to future generations, not simply as currency, but as a symbol of vision and perseverance. Think of the awe in their eyes as they hold a piece of history that was nearly lost to oblivion. That is the transformative power of rare coin collecting, a reminder that extraordinary value can lie hidden in the most ordinary of places, waiting for those with knowledge, patience, and courage to claim it. So the next time you sift through a jar of Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coins, pause. Look closer. Consider the 2007 D Mint Mark. Imagine the tiny anomalies that could transform it into a treasure beyond imagining. What seems ordinary might be extraordinary. What seems common might hold a fortune. And what you hold in your hand today could very well become the legacy you leave tomorrow, because sometimes the difference between a simple cent and a $683,000 masterpiece is a glance, a moment of recognition, and the courage to believe in the extraordinary.